Maxim and Arrows. Aphorisms by Friedrich Nietzsche, in his book published 1888 called Twilight of the Idols. There are 40 some odd maxims or aphorisms at the beginning of the book. They are designed to be meditated or contemplated upon. Short, direct, philosophical edicts known as philosophy with a hammer. Number 1. Idleness is the beginning of psychology. What? Could psychology be a vice? 2. Even the bravest of us rarely has the courage for what he really knows. 3. To live alone, one must be an animal or a god, says Aristotle. There is yet a third case. One must be both, a philosopher. 4. All truth is simple. Is that not a compound lie? 5. Once and for all, there is a great deal I do not want to know. Wisdom sets bounds even to knowledge. 6. It is by being natural that one best recovers from one's unnaturalness, from one's spirituality. 7. Which is it? Is man only God's mistake, or God only man's mistake? 8. From the military school of life, what does not kill me makes me stronger. 9. Help thyself, then everyone will help thee too. Principle of Christian charity. 10. Let us not be cowardly in the face of our actions. Let us not afterwards leave them in the lurch. Remorse of conscience is indecent. 11. Can an ass or donkey be tragic? To be crushed by a burden one can neither bear nor throw off. The case of the philosopher. 12. If we possess our why of life, we can put up with almost any how. Man does not strive after happiness. Only the Englishman does that. Man created woman. But what out of? Out of a rib of his God, of his ideal. 14. What? You are seeking? You want to multiply yourself by 10? By 100? You are seeking followers? Seek not. 15. Posthumous men, like me, for instance, are not so well understood as timely men, but they are listened to better. More precisely, we are never understood, and hence our authority. 16. Among women, truth? Oh, you don't know the truth, do you? Is it not an outrage on all our pas durs? 17. This is an artist, as an artist should be, modest in his requirements. There are only two things he really wants, his bread and his art. 18. He who does not know how to put his will into things at least puts meaning into them. That is, he believes there is a will within them already. Principle of belief. 19. What? You have chosen virtue and the heaving bosom, yet at the same time look with envy on the advantages enjoyed by those who live for the day? But with virtue one renounces advantage, laid at the door of the anti-Semite. 20. The complete woman perpetuates literature in the same way as she perpetuates a little sin, as an experiment, in passing, looking around to see if someone notices, and so that someone notices. 21. To get into only those situations in which illusory virtues are of no use, but in which, like the tightrope walker on his rope, one either falls or stands, or gets off. 22. Bad men have no songs. How is it the Russians have songs? 23. German spirit For 18 years, a contradiction in adjecto. 24. In order to look for beginners, one becomes a crab. The historian looks backwards. At last, he also believes backwards. 25. Contentment protects one even from catching a cold. Has a woman who knew she was well dressed ever caught a cold? I'm assuming she was hardly dressed at all. 26. I mistrust all systematizers and avoid them. The will to a system is a lack of integrity. 27. Women are considered deep. Why? Because one can never discover any bottom to them? Women are not even shallow. 28. If a woman possesses manly virtues, one should run away from her. If she does not possess them, she runs away herself. 29. How much the conscience formerly had to bite on. What good teeth it had. And today? What's the trouble? A dentist's question. 30. One seldom commits only one rash act. In the first rash act, one always does too much. For just that reason, one usually commits a second, and then does too little. 31. When it is trodden on, a worm will curl up. That is prudent. It thereby reduces the chance of being trodden on again. In the language of morals, humility. 32. Hatred of lies and dissembling may arise out of a sensitive notion of honor. The same hatred may arise out of cowardice, inasmuch as lying is forbidden by divine command, too cowardly to tell lies. 33. How little is needed for happiness? The note of a bagpipe. Without music, life would be a mistake. The German even thinks of God as singing songs. 34. Now I have you, nihilist. Assiduity is the sin against the Holy Spirit. Only ideas won by walking have any value. 35. There are times when we are like horses, we psychologists, and grow restive. We see our own shadow moving up and down before us. The psychologist has to look away from himself in order to see at all. 36. Whether we immoralists do virtue any harm? As little as anarchists do princes. Only since they have been shot at do they again sit firmly on their thrones. Moral. One must shoot at morals. 37. You run ahead? Do you do so as a herdsman or as an exception? A third possibility would be as a deserter. First question of conscience. 38. Are you genuine or only an actor? A representative or that itself which is represented? Finally, you are no more than imitation of an actor. Second question of conscience. 39. The disappointed man speaks. I sought great human beings. I never found any but the apes of their ideal. 40. Are you one who looks on, or who sets to work, or who looks away, turns aside? Third question of conscience. 41. Do you want to accompany, or go ahead, or go off alone? One must know what one wants, and that one wants. Fourth question of conscience. 42. For me they were steps. I have climbed upon them, therefore I had to pass over them. But they thought I wanted to settle down on them. 43. What does it matter that I am proved right? I am too much in the right, and he who laughs best today will also laugh last. 44. Formula of my happiness. A yes, a no. A straight line, a goal. Maxims and Arrows of Twilight of the Idols, Friedrich Nietzsche, 1888.